Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Truly Timeless Failures, because every failure in history started with good intentions. Let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy Note 7, the phone that was literally fire. Launched in 2016, it was supposed to be the best smartphone ever. It had everything: fancy cameras, the latest processor, and the ability to kill you. I mean that literally. The Note 7 had a nasty habit of catching on fire. You'd leave it charging overnight, and next morning you'd have a 75% chance of getting burned. Airlines banned it, the media had a field day, and Samsung ended up recalling millions of units. In the end, it wasn't the smartphone of the future, it was more like carrying around a portable bomb. Note 7 proves that you don't have to take the innovate or evaporate approach literally. Speaking of fires, let's look at the Hoverboard saga of 2015. Before we move on, consider subscribing to the channel and sharing this video. Start with what hoverboards are. In 2015, everyone was obsessed with these futuristic scooters. It was like, whoa, we finally have the tech to hover like Marty McFly. That's the guy from Back to the Future. Google it if you don't know. And it's a very old reference. Except they didn't hover at all. They were basically two wheels on a board. All rubbish tech. People still lined up to buy them. And then the real fun began. These things turned out to be ticking time bombs. Seriously, they just randomly burst into flames. Picture this, you're riding your cool new hoverboard through the park and suddenly, boom, your feet are on fire. It was less of a smooth ride into the future and more like playing a game of, will my house catch fire today? Hoverboards are an example of the importance of doing enough quality testing before launching. If you rush your product into the market without checking if it literally bursts into flames, you're probably doing something wrong. Let's move on to the next technology marvel, the Google Glass. If you're with us so far, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We live in the era of wearables and edibles, but we're not talking about that today. While technology has progressed and we can experience reality like Iron Man when he wears his helmet, this so-called revolution started way back in 2013. Meet Google Glass, the gadget that made us all look like wannabe cyborgs. Granddaddy Google thought, hey, why not put a tiny computer on your face? Sounds futuristic, right? But here's the catch. You'd walk around with this awkward, dorky looking frame, constantly peering at a screen hovering in front of your eyeball. Oh, and did I mention it cost $1,500? For that price, you could have bought a whole bunch of regular useless crap and look like less of a nerd. Here's the real kicker though. It made everyone super uncomfortable. Because nobody knew if you were checking your emails or secretly recording them. Not to mention the potential safety hazards, because humans are so amazing at crossing the road while looking into a virtual screen. While this might be every creep's wet dream device, the project was scrapped. Last I heard it was being revived, because when you're Google, why the F not? The Google Glass proves that just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Even if you're the world's #1 search engine and owner of the platform on which I'm posting this video and can ruin my life by leaking my personal information. Sorry Google, Glass was an amazing piece of tech. Let's quickly move on to the next story. Subscribe! In 2010, Microsoft saw Apple and Google's smartphone success with iOS and Android and said, why shouldn't we get a piece of that smartphone money? Introducing the Windows Phone, Microsoft's offering with big dreams and tiny results. The interface was full of tiles because apparently apps with icons were the real problem as opposed to 1 megapixel cameras and 2 GB storage. Developers took one look and said no thanks. In the end, Microsoft pulled the plug on the Windows Phone in 2017, a good 7 years later, leaving behind a legacy of, well, nothing. More than half of you didn't even know this existed. P.S. I couldn't find an actual Windows Phone, so the background window is a window and a phone. But you're welcome. The Windows Phone proves that jumping into a market without understanding what people actually want is like trying to sail a boat in a desert. Sometimes the best action is knowing when to sit this one out. Like, share and subscribe if you like the story so far. Truly Timeless Failures will return next week.